Well, good morning. Here's another of my Righteous Tone series. I'm going to be playing my mid-60s Teisco TRE100, and today I'll be running through the little Vox Pathfinder 10 amp. But I wanted to show you some of my pedals. I had someone on one of the sites, either TikTok or here on YouTube, that asked me why so many pedals. He has played in a blues band for, 20 years or 30 years, and never used any pedals. Well, I've always been an experimental lead guitarist, and an awful lot of what I do is going to be making sounds with things like this. This naturally does.
Hard times is here everywhere you go.
This naturally has a good tone in it, regardless of what kind of thing you run for pedals. And then some overdrive. But a reason for pedals, I no longer have a Fender amp. I've played Fender, first Super Reverb through the 60s and 70s, and later on Princeton and Deluxe until just last year. Semi-retired. I'm just not carrying a whole lot of stuff around with me, and I went to smaller amps. I've got a quite lightweight Univox, a U45B, 12-inch speaker, 10 watts, and I have a VHT Special 6 watts, 10-inch speaker. They both do me just fine playing out. But a reason for pedals, there's no tremolo on these amps, and so I have a cheap tremolo pedal. The Joyo's got a beautiful tremolo sound, and since I don't have a Fender amp, no reverb. So what I'm using here is a Prussian Blue from One Control, which has a very nice tone. And then, why so many pedals? Well, I have a tuner. I have those two because I don't have a Fender amp. I have a clean overdrive, which is a wonderful pedal, an original George Lynch Time Machine boost made by Keeley, the one with the skulls on it. And I also have a mini tube screamer. They do some very nice things. The George Lynch Time Machine boost. Ibanez mini tube screamer. I like to have some delay. When I first started playing resonator and slide guitar, about 30 years ago, I read an article by Ry Cooder, and he talked about having some overdrive on his things. Perhaps it was on the amp, and I do that with the amps too. But since I use up to a dozen different guitars at shows, I have to have the changes in settings on all my pedals and in these amps, and so I want some different sounds. But another thing, Ry Cooder spoke about reverb and delay. So I want to have some delay. And what I'm using right now is a Dr. J Shadow Echo. It's got a weird control in it that gives us some after effect. It seems to go off its tone like an original tube machine and tape machine. And today's Righteous Tone is one that I use on playing a song of mine from, from a CD, I think. It might have been off of my first cassette. I was recording cassettes in the 1990s. But right here, Tube Screamer, Tremolo, Shadow Echo, and one more thing. This is the overabundance of pedals. What foolishness. The MXR Phase 95.